Phantasm Checks Undead. I want to go ahead and do a short breakdown and discussion. Well, hopefully short. I've been dragging on the last couple times that I've tried this. But a little discussion about the new trailer from the Resident Evil 9 Requiem game that we're going to get in a couple months here. I'm very excited from what we got out of this trailer. It relieved a lot of the worries that I had personally. There are some things that I'm not super happy about still, but in the long run, overall, I'm very happy with what we're getting here. This is very much a return to the roots of Resident Evil. Zombies, monsters, Umbrella, conspiracies, all this crazy cool stuff that we know and love from the original series. Now, if we listen to what Victor says here...
I know now that you're the one that I've been searching for. The special one. The chosen one. It's Ashcroft.
I believe he's alluding to basically her mom having the, I think it was called the daylight virus in her blood. Or the, you know, that and the cure, all that stuff. So Grace obviously has something, you know, with that in her, giving her possibly antibodies to fight off the infection of, I think, the Elpis virus. So he needs her to be able to create a cure, because obviously he has not been able to. That's why he looks the way that he does. And that's basically what he's talking about there, I think. Then we're getting the police and Leon's handler basically talking and explaining kind of the situation going on in the city, talking about there being an outbreak. I think that this sleeve here actually belongs to the caretaker lady, because if you look, the color and the end here looks almost exactly like hers. She's not wearing a ring on that hand. It's this hand that we're looking at, and it looks very much the same. The sleeve is exactly the same. The color is very similar. So I could be wrong, but I'm seeing some comparisons. Some other comparisons that I've very easily noticed here. This cop, this exact cop, if you look at his face, his nose, and everything, let me see if I can even... You can't get a perfect shot here of his face. I think they do that on purpose, but you can kind of see it here. That's this exact zombie. So somewhere between right here and here, obviously, this guy turns. And I think that the teeth we see falling out as well belong to this guy. I think this is the guy that actually bites Grace on the arm and gets her basically heading over here to maybe look for a cure and continue her investigation. Because if you notice, she has the bite here. This is before she's got all the bandages and wraps on her. And, yeah, so I'll talk about that more in a second. Then we see the teeth. And I think, so that's like, he turns... He, you know, goes through some stuff, then he, like, coughs, his teeth come out all bloody, and then I think he bites Grace. And I think she's just kind of, like, shocked from the whole thing, and then that's why he's able to, like, bite her, because she just is, like, you know, she's all scared and timid. She's not Leon, so she can't make a, you know, tough, you know, whatever. I digress. But then you see the wraps on her, and she's got her gun and all that stuff. So I think something goes down here. Obviously, they're looking at some bodies that are infected. They're kind of figuring out, like, what's going on here. And then outbreak stuff happens. I think that also kind of leads to stuff spreading within the city. Because we already hear Leon, or Leon's handler, talking to him, explaining the situation. So I think this is Grace, you know, setting everything up. And then he comes into the city, like, after that event there. I also want to point out in this scene, Grace, this is after she's been captured, after she's got, you know, all this stuff on her. She's not immediately trying to fight Victor. I don't know if that's because Victor is, you know, kind of like one of those immortal characters where he can chase you around for a while and just, like, eat bullets as he's, like, chasing you about. Or if he's not trying to hurt you in this scene, because he needs you alive, technically, to be able to make an antivirus out of your blood, out of Grace's blood. So I don't think he's not trying to hurt her here. And I think she kind of understands that, and that's why she's not directly fighting him here. And that's also why I think some other people have kind of come to the assumption that the other lady that we see later here is the actual bad guy. But I don't believe that because I think that we see her dead in that earlier scene that I was talking about. And then we finally see Leon arriving. And I think this is actually like later, so I think
Welcome. Dr. Gideon has been expecting you.
maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know. I've heard some other people. This trailer really jumps around in time. It's definitely not like a, beginning, middle, end trailer. Like these events are like all over the place as to how and when they're happening. So they did really good with the trailer. I can't tell exactly what's going on with the story. So I like that. I like that they actually did really well with that. But it's very hard for me to be able to figure out like what exactly is going on here.
You there, Leon?
Yeah.
The graphics on Leon's jacket are insane. You can see like every individual hair.
Hey, over here.
And then he shows up while Grace is... So this is another part that I think is very interesting. So this is while she's like
Over here.
freaking out, running away from this thing, I guess shortly after she had been captured, and then Leon comes to her rescue and saves her. So
What are you doing here?
Would you like to see what's hidden under the hood?
we get some shots of the Alpers virus infection.
Me?
I didn't go back far enough. I still didn't go back far enough
Would you like to see what's
as he's going
hidden
back to Raccoon City. So this is how we see Victor, kind of looking. He doesn't look quite as bad because he's gotten a handle on it, but this is what the zombies are going to be looking like,
under the hood?
which we see a little bit more of in a
Don't do
second.
anything stupid.
And then here we also see Leon running around the city a lot. They only show it for a very short period of time, but we get a lot of clips of Leon driving around the city, running around the city, and then we get this shot very briefly of him surrounded by a bunch of zombies that he just dispatched. And he's in the middle of a city showing off his axe. I think this is either when he got bit or this is showing off... Well, I don't know. Either this is when he got bit or this is just kind of showing off that there's going to be a lot bigger areas to this game. Finally, we might actually be able to get to like run around and explore inside of a city as the outbreak is, spreading and becoming really chaotic. So there's going to be a lot of zombies, a lot of panic, a lot of chaos. I think that would be very, very cool, very interesting. That's what they're, I think, showing this scene where, he's crossing the street and there's people like
Don't do anything stupid.
just driving through like it's New York, chaos driving, whatever. It seems like everybody's trying to like evacuate out of the city or like they gotta go. That's why they almost hit Leon there. He also could have just like ran into that car. Let me get that shot there. I think they have that shot there like that too because that is where he gets bit. And he's turning here. You see blood on his cheek. So like I think that's where like that's the big moment for him. And then this is kind of funny. I don't know if he says it sounds like he says calm down. Is there subtitles? Hold on.
I think I want a second.
Yeah, no, the subtitles don't work. Okay. So this is something that I feel back and forth on. So I love it because it is zombies. It's very much like George Romero zombies, but a lot of people have pointed out like, oh, it's a zombie with a chainsaw, so it's not like an actual zombie. And while like, yes, of all people to have an opinion on that, I would be the guy to be like, that's not a real zombie. But personally, I'm gonna say it still fits with the like real zombies of, you know, Resident Evil and other games, it still fits that George Romero zombie. It basically is my point. Yes, he does start the chainsaw, but then immediately, he's not actually, like, using the chain. You can tell he doesn't have fine motor skills. He's not that kind of, he's not an intelligent zombie. He just had, it's just like that brief moment where he says, you know, calm down, in that very messed up, imperfect speech. It's kind of like a callback to Resident Evil 3 zombies, where, like, they almost seem like there was a light of intelligence, but it's not really there. It's just almost like just signals from the brain just doing so. You know how, like, if you ever seen a video where, like, somebody, like, cuts the head off a chicken and then the body, like, still runs around for a little while? It's like that. Your brain or your muscles are just still doing muscle memory signals of things. I think that's kind of basically what this is more like. And that fits as well with, like, the George Romero zombies, if you're familiar with those movies. That's still very much what they do. They're still very much brain dead. There's just some things that they could just kind of do that seems like a spark of intelligence, but it's not. It's just like, it's just natural, I guess, is the best kind of way to put it. It's natural for a human to do that. It's natural for a body to do certain things. So it's just, you know, muscle memory. That's the best way to word it, muscle memory. We also get a good look at some of the guns here. I'll go ahead and talk about those because I did go look up exactly what these are. I have a P320, so I know exactly what he was holding here. It's a very custom model. This is the closest thing that I could find to what Leon has here, and you can tell it's exactly the same, basically, other than this has a light and a red dot on it. Other than that, this is a metal frame that can accept side plates, custom plates if you want to put them on here. It's got a compact slide with a compensator on the front. It's got a full-size grip, so that way it basically fits flush with the compensator. And let's see, what else has he got on here? That's really it, other than, like, the extended magazine and the magwell on here to make reloading easier. He's also got the flat blade trigger, and then I can tell just because they have this, like, different colored here, and you can kind of see it here, he's got, like, a dual tone compact slide. This is a P320. I'm not a big fan of that because this gun has just recently become known, like, in the last, like, 2 years, it's become super well known for being a really, really bad, unsafe firearm to carry. I know Capcom was probably already making this game, was probably way too far in development when that all started to come out for them to, you know, double back and be like, oh, we gotta change it now. Plus, it's a really cool looking gun, so I'm not gonna fault them for that. I've always liked cool looking guns in Resident Evil, and it's a game, so I'm not gonna trip hard about that. I'm super happy about the zombies. I'm super happy about the monsters. I'm not super crazy about Leon being like John Wick in Resident Evil now. I think that's kind of weird and over the top, but they already started that with 4, so they kind of have to keep it going. I think this might be the last game where we see Leon being like this, so that's maybe why they're going with it like that, being really over the top. I don't know. We'll see. I think we do need some kind of weight in the game, though. I think somebody does need to die. We've had too many games with Leon. Nobody's actually died, and we don't ever see any of the other main characters. And that's kind of the only other thing that I really have as a complaint so far, is that if we're getting Leon, I need the other characters to come back too. There's a bunch of characters that are tied to the Raccoon City event and the original Resident Evil games, and we haven't seen a lot of them in a long time. Like, a lot of them actually haven't even gotten their own games, and a lot of them just haven't gotten their own game, like, in a long time. The last time that Claire got a game was Revelations 2. Last game that Jill got was Revelations 1. Both those were a long time ago. Revelations 2 was a pretty good game. 1, not so much. And it also was originally just a 3DS game. And I think Jill deserves a lot better than that because she was in the first original Resident Evil game. Chris also really should be here because he's in the original Resident Evil. He, has, it's not, he wasn't in Resident Evil 2 or 3, so he doesn't have like a direct tie to the Raccoon City outbreak, but he was involved from the beginning, so I think he also deserves a spotlight coming back, to deal with some of this stuff. Um, Carlos. He's a character that I would love to see. I really, really want Carlos to make a comeback. Sorry that it keeps showing this here. I wish I could loop this. Um, Carlos is another character that I would really love to see come back. We have not seen him since Resident Evil 3. We have no idea what he's up to as far as I'm aware. And I think he really should make a comeback and, show off in this game, especially if Jill makes a comeback and these other characters make a comeback. I think Carlos would make perfect sense for him to come back. Maybe him and Jill stayed in touch over the years, something like that. Um, Ada, I guess could make a comeback. If Leon's coming back, we know that we're probably gonna see Ada at some point. Because they almost never they never do a game with Leon without, or they never do a game with Leon that doesn't have Ada in it somewhere. The only one that didn't, I think, was Gaiden, if I remember, Resident Evil Gaiden. I don't think that has Ada in it, as far as I remember. I could be wrong though. It's been a long time. But yeah, that's, and then Ashley. I think Ashley is actually Leon's handler, because she did become an agent. We remember that from Resident Evil 6. So it maybe makes sense for her to maybe want to move up and work with Leon, and maybe take a step back from a outside of take a step back and basically do a desk role instead of a action role where she's like out in the field. So I could see her, becoming a handler for Leon, because Leon would also be a very high, tier person to work with, and she is also somebody that, because of her background and then experience as well, she's probably also become a very high tier person. So she's now probably at the level where she's able to work with somebody like him and do that stuff. So that would be really cool. She's not somebody that we would get to see like in person here with everybody else, but that would still, be a really cool role to be able to get her to, come back and see her again. There is like a bunch of other characters from like the Outbreak games and a ton of other stuff that could make comebacks as well. I'm not gonna like go into mentioning like every single person that could make a comeback. Those are just some of the names that I would really love to see. Let me know in the comments below who you would love to see make a comeback. Like for sure, like top 3 at least that deserve to be in Requiem, since this is like a callback to the original games. Like, who do you think should be in this? I think that's kind of a very important detail with a game like this because of what they're doing. But, we'll see how well they do it and how much Raccoon City actually plays a part in this game. I don't know if it's going to really play a big part from what I see, or I could be totally wrong and it's like the entire second half of the game where we're playing as Leon. All this is just like a very small part, with Grace in this city. We'll have to see exactly what they do there. That's all I've got for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I will be doing a Resident Evil marathon of all the games that I have available to play, which is like some of the classics, and then basically like 1 through 8 on PC as well, like all the remasters, like all that stuff. You'll see. Hit the like and subscribe button here if you want to see that, or go follow me on Kick or Twitch. I'm also over there. I will be also doing more videos like this in the future. I would really appreciate if you could hit the like and subscribe buttons. It helps me grow as a new content creator, and it helps get these videos out to more people. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this new trailer. Let me know what you guys think about, the new direction that Resident Evil has finally returned to. Not new direction, but the classic direction. They've basically returned to the roots of Resident Evil. Let me know what you think about that. I am very excited for this. It has relieved all of my concerns. Oh, I didn't talk about, shoot. I didn't talk about the revolver, but this is the revolver. I'm less excited about revolvers. I think that's kind of why I just kind of like, oh, that's it. But it's a Russian revolver. It's this thing. I don't really know much about it. It fires 12.7 rounds, I think. or 357. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know anything about this gun, but I'll go ahead and throw this little bit in here. That way, you know, you see that I did try to cover it. I found it. I just didn't. I don't know nothing else about it. Sorry, guys. That's all I got for this video. I hope you guys have a good one. I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year's Eve. Let me know what you guys did below. Other than that, see you next time. Bye, guys.